The SABC and MultiChoice have announced a deal whereby SABC News and SABC Encore will continue to be broadcast on DSTV. A previous deal was heavily criticised and is due to run out in just a few days. The Group CEO of the SABC, Madoda Mxakwe, says this now provides certainty to SABC viewers on DSTV as well as staff. SABC News anchor Francis Hurd spoke to the GCEO.
After a lot of speculation around the negotiations, SABC announcing today, along with MultiChoice, that a new deal has been signed. This will ensure that SABC News and SABC Encore, those two channels, continue to be broadcast on DSTV. To discuss further, we're joined by the SABC Group CEO, Madoda Mxakwe. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Mxakwe. Can you give us more details about the announcement?
Well, this morning we signed a new agreement with MultiChoice, which basically allows us to continue having the news channel as well as SABC Encore to be broadcast on DSTV. And on behalf of the board and as well as management, we welcome this because it will bring certainty to our viewers as well as to the staff. But I think what is also important is that this deal, it actually meets our needs in terms of commercial as well as the governance point of view.
Why did the negotiations take so long? As I understand it, we're just days away from the end of the old contract. Everybody's been on tenterhooks.
Well, as you can imagine, this deal for us, it was important to make sure that we get it right and ensuring that it makes commercial sense, but also to make sure we look at all of the governance issues in as far as it is concerned.
The old deal was heavily criticized in the press for the wrong reasons, claims that we were possibly peddling political influence for commercial contracts. Did that make this new deal all the more fraught for both parties?
As you can imagine, the 24-hour television news landscape is extremely competitive. And the deal in itself, it contains a lot of commercially sensitive information as well as competitive information, as the public broadcaster would not want to disclose some of the clauses to some of our competitors.
Not even because both parties have suffered reputational damage. Isn't it time to play open cards, even if there's a little bit of commercial sensitivity on the side?
I think what is important is that it provides for us as the SABC the necessary certainty and stability, particularly to all of the new staff who were quite anxious, understandably, but also to the viewers who did not know what would happen at the end of this month.
Is it a clean deal? Is it good for South Africans, good for the SABC?
Certainly it is. The board has ensured that good governance is in place on this deal, so we're very confident that it is.
And what's happening with the probe on the old deal? And one of the issues was the archives, and I'm interested in that because the new announcement today says that archives remain wholly owned property of the SABC.
Indeed, I can confirm that based on this commercial agreement, archives remain wholly owned by the SABC and they are fully in our control.
So that puts paid to concerns about the archives?
Certainly, yes.
We are in a dire financial situation. Firstly, what does this mean for jobs?
Well, this for us as the SABC provides some of the required finances from a working capital point of view, but also from a revenue generating point of view. But in terms of jobs, I do think that it is important to highlight that from a new staff point of view, this agreement does provide the certainty that is required.
So it saves some jobs at least? It
does provide the certainty, yes, that is required.
What about producers not being paid? You gave a commitment previously that there would be payments mid-August. We're there. What happens now?
Well, in terms of all of the suppliers that we have not paid, we have been very open about our current liquidity challenges. And every single day, we are using all of the limited resources that we have to ensure that we pay the service providers.
Will they all be paid? Does this open some financial resources to us?
We have different payment arrangements with all of them. And as per those arrangements, we'll ensure that we pay as much as we have the resources.
Final question on that. There were weekend reports that the SABC was receiving a bailout. They're not. Yes, no. What can you tell us?
Well, we're continuing to engage with all the necessary stakeholders, particularly at different levels of government, to make sure that we can make the SABC a financially viable organization.
All right, thank you for your time. That was SABC's Group CEO, Madoda Mxakwe.